our guests today. Welcome to all our guests today on this Professor Iyer show, my show. And then we are going to have discussions today on the issue of the public sector enterprises. It's the hottest discussion today because on one side, the government has the challenge of raising revenues and capital. On the other side, there is an issue that how much of these revenues must be actually obtained or secured using the public sector assets. Now, this is the major issue, and then the issue goes towards the topic that we have dealt much before, and it's become even hotter now, which is divestment versus disinvestment. So the one area is divestment versus disinvestment, that issue. So before we start, I want to give a few figures which we have done the research, and I want to share with this wonderful panel. Let me put that up, in front of you. See, first of all, what is the public sector contribution to India? So what we found out is very interesting. We have 10 points which come into picture. The number one point is income generation for the government. Number two is capital formation, obviously, because continuously there are reserve funds developed thanks to the PSUs. Third point is employment generation. Fourth point was infrastructure buildup. Because today, even though we can say the private sector has come, but a majority of ports, airports, and most of the infrastructure that you see today, we made an analysis. It is like 65% is coming from the public sector even today. 65% if you can include the railways and the entire airport infrastructure, the National Highway Authority of India, and the road lines, all of that together, अगर हम लेंगे, तो ये 65% हमारी आज भी asset जो country का national development चल रहा है, that is basically the public sector enterprise. Then comes the strong industrial based development. इस पे तो दो राय नहीं है, भले ही धीरे-धीरे हम कहें कि सीमेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग से चले गई, but आज भी one of the finest steel plants are owned by the SAIL. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में BHEL है. अगर इंडस्ट्रियल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की बात करेंगे, और भी कई कंपनियां हैं इस तरह की which are doing great job. In fact, the entire defense PSU setup which I was watching is an extraordinary setup of manufacturing today, and including the Ordnance Factory Board. So अगर हम पूरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री का देखें तो अभी भी पब्लिक सेक्टर पीछे नहीं है, भले ही प्राइवेट सेक्टर इज कम इनटू अदर एरियाज ऑफ कॉमर्स, बट नेशनल बिल्डिंग में जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंट्रीब्यूशन है एंड आल्सो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट है, दैट्स बेसिकली लुक्स लाइक द पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइज स्टिल डोमिनेट. Then there is an area called export promotion and import substitution, and PSUs are almost doing majority of the job there. Then comes contribution to our central exchequer, what they give to government as a dividend, income, earning, and other formats. Even many of the government schemes, whether it's a scheme for social development or economic development, a lot of that money goes from the public sector enterprises. Then comes checking and balancing contribution of income and wealth. That means equal distribution of income and wealth अगर इस country में होनी है तो PSU ही कर पाए, because the disparity is coming predominantly from the private sector. Private sector में अगर CEO salary आप देखेंगे and down the line salary देखेंगे, सबसे बड़ा gap उधर है. वो मतलब एक बहुत बड़ी खाई है. It's like a the Niagara Fall or some other big gap. But whereas the private sector CEO's, public sector CEO salary versus an average employee salary, the gap is quite less. I would say it's like, if you look at a 10x, then it is 100x in the private sector. So that income disparities growth comes from the private sector rather than public. Public sector is equating and balancing this act. इसकी study कहीं नहीं हुई है, तो हम पहली बार इस बात को उठा रहे हैं. Then एक है removal of regional disparities. देखिए जितनी PSUs establish हुई हमने देखा, चाहे वो central हो, चाहे वो state हो, or they are even in the smaller organizations under control of Government of India undertaking. So they have actually enabled various regions of the country to come up. काफी balanced growth का एक setup है, which cannot be seen in the private sector domain because वहाँ भेड़ चाल है. People go to one direction, or if an industrial estate is coming, to go. For example, you see today Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu are highly industrialized states. अगर public sector नहीं होती तो मैं कहता हूँ कुछ भी अभी जितना भी थोड़ा बहुत भी हुआ यूपी, बिहार, मध्य प्रदेश में, वो भी नहीं होता. तो ये बड़ा देखने वाला point है कि like West Bengal, it benefited hugely from the public sector enterprise. So we need to study this model. We are now making extreme cases for the private sector alone. And that's the interesting part. We actually put down that there is an equal, reasonable contribution for all the sectors, which is private sector, public sector, and the cooperative sector. But still, the aim of the importance of the public sector doesn't go down. So ये मैंने कुछ निकाले हैं बड़े interesting points. तो इसमें मैं पहला सवाल इसके बाद, because we'll come to each of them. पहला सवाल मैं खजांची साहब से शुरू करना चाहता हूँ. खजांची साहब, ये अभी जिस तरह से दिख रहा है, जिस तरह से मैंने आपको सारी लिस्टिंग बताई, ये तो बिल्कुल जो डेटा अवेलेबल है, सरकार की खुद की डेटा यूज की हमने. We have gone into the government data and we are finding extraordinary, although current situation is the total contribution from the PSUs in income terms, or what we call the revenue terms, to the GDP has come to 15%. This was about 21.7% some time back, and it was even during Atalji's time the same. So I would say when Dr. Manmohan Singh went away, that time also the contribution was close to 21%. But somehow I'm seeing this as 15% right now. That's the figure we have got today when we came to this discussion. So now I want your first views on where we are going wrong. What's happening?
See, Professor, we have to go into the history of where the public sector started. You go back in time, go to 50s, when our plan, 5-year plan development started. So all the projects were started in states through the central government also as single projects. Here, there, whatever the resource was available that time, it started with that. And the most important was in private sector, we didn't have the resources. Not good trained manpower, equipment was very expensive and very difficult to be arranged. Foreign exchange was nowhere. So you have to think the importance of why the public sector. It started as late as, I will tell you about the energy sector. It started as late as 1975. That means 2.5 decades, we could see that how the projects, the development could be taken in a planned manner, but not that one project basis. So the organized public sector was created. Now, public sector, earlier than that, yes, used to be in government full departments. But again, the full government controls all the problems, and that leaving things to a group of people, the managers, the management to do things was not available there. It has the typical bureaucratic approach. So came the public sector. Now in public sector, the whatever resources started coming in, whatever money was borrowed, government started pumping in through these agencies, which I said was mostly after said in the energy sector, you will find only after 75. And it took some time to develop these skills, managerial skills, and run it. Then came the issues that the government controls were not loosened. It was not left to the management of these public sector. That is how today we see that it has now in the government thinking, it has started that mistrust for having at least those where the assets could be sold and we could take the money, pump it into the government and wherever they would need it, which is not right. Because if the public sector has failed, according to government, that makes them to decide this much invested and this much is the only return. In private sector, it would have done this. The comparison cannot be made outright. Each suffering, each public sector undertaking, which is not doing well, has to be analyzed. I know of construction industry. Go to NBCC and NPCC, both Government of India. NPCC is nowhere. Although we had started in a big way, NPCC had started in a very, very big way. All the tough infrastructure projects that time. Where is it today? Who is responsible? That means the government of India has not given that free rope to the public sector, to public sector management. Today, if you see, most of the times, top positions in public sector on their board level appointments who run the show remain unfilled, remain vacant for long. You can have a full list, and all these top companies of Government of India, ONGC, BHEL, go to NTPC, NHPC, you will find there were gaps. In a small company like a consultancy company, which we have a very good consultancy company in water resources and hydropower and infrastructure also, WAPCO's India.
Right.
I know it for certain. It's more than 6 months that they are headless. Okay, some additional secretary, very smart, is handling it. But that is much, much more. Very little contribution possible from a person like that because of the heavy load of an additional secretary in the ministry. So if it is not taken seriously, then yes, you can start diversification, you can start selling. That is the main thing which is which has to be considered. I tell you, I am really impressed with the research you have done, your organization does, by working out what happened when, what is where and how it is. And as you said just now, 21% has come down to 50%. That is the mistrust. Mistrust. We are not let them to grow the way they should. Plus,
Right.
as you said, when it comes, they say that money makes a mere go. You put somebody in charge, make him responsible. Okay, if his stakes are limited, he will take it easy. Complete his 5-year tenure and go away. But if he is given some incentives, it's not only financial, and appreciation after the job, this recognition, then certainly people will, it's the same Indians who are in private sector. They are not different, they are our own brethren. If they are doing well, why not us in the public sector, in the government? There's a reason.
I got it. You know, basically, do you think now the same question with you is, do you think there enough autonomy should be given to the public sector managing director and the boards? There is absolutely no autonomy. It looks like the government runs it like their own fiefdom. Almost they are under so much of pressure. There's not enough autonomy, according to me. Because if we want demand accountability, then we must also give autonomy to the public sector. As much as we have so much autonomy, freedom for the private sector MD, why this autonomy is not available?
That confidence, actually, again, that competition between private and the public sector, the way private sector is projected, their performance is projected, such and such companies, even naming people, Reliance, where from the Ambani started, from nowhere and top, where all public sector for that matter, especially exceptions are like Tata's, where it started well before, and later on Birla's also did well, but even decided when I was very young, Birla also didn't have that much of the competence to handle it, but then they developed. That's what will happen. So that mistrust with the public sector and the public sector management, that makes it suffer. Otherwise, there should be absolutely no problem.
Yeah. No, basically, see, the styles of management, as we explained, there are 3 styles of management: the public sector style of management, the private sector style of management, and the cooperative sector style of management. And I do not think that we can say that only one type of management succeeded. A different type of management succeeded. Now, this question, if I can just bring in probably quickly Murthy Saab before I move on to Shukla Saab. Murthy Saab, ye private sector management we are talking about, but actually the public sector has also done an extraordinary job. You know, there are very good CMDs in the public sector in the past. You know, Dr. V. Krishnamurthy, he was the founder of BHL, and Dr. D.V. Kapoor was again kind of a founder of NTPC, and they served the private sector. D.V. Kapoor served the private sector. Dr. Krishnamurthy was later on the chairman of the National Manufacturing Competitive Council. Then we have people like Khazanchi Saab, who went from NHPC, within our discussion, who went from NHPC, then served Bhutan and received the highest civilian honor of Bhutan, Tukse. is the Honorable Dut Sukse with us. Today successfully now he is able to reflect on the times. So if several people like this, I can say the hundreds of them whom we can name, and we have recognized also at NSHA Awards, Markram Awards, and things like that, the public sector awards. So what stops? How we can say that only private sector has succeeded? What is the sudden movement that there is a privatization movement instead of thinking of making more professional the public sector, giving them more autonomy on the boards? So what is your view, Murthy sir?
See, basically, the public sector has got a lot of pool of talent in terms of managerial talent, and most of the public sectors have succeeded. In fact, here I would like to refer to a study which has shown that in the latest study, in fact, just 1-year-old study, which talks about out of all the public sector companies in 10 years, 71% of public sector companies were resilient. That means they are able to succeed without any problem. And if you come to private
Right.
sector, the percentage is only 52%. See the difference, roughly about
Okay.
20% gap. That means the strength
Right.
of public sector enterprises in India with its technical capability as well as managerial capability is much, much higher and much stronger than some of the private sectors. That's no doubt about it.
Right.
Now, what I see is basically the boards today, I think for the last few years, maybe for the last decade or so, the public sector boards have lost their autonomy. That's what my personal feeling it is. The public sector boards needs to be accountable at the same time. They must have autonomy to take decisions on their own and do the things. I think this part of it is missing from the government, and they are not allowing the government, the public sector sectors to grow. For example, BHL, which used to compete in international bids for the power sector equipment, today they are not participating anywhere for the last 6-7 years. Why? That means there is something drastically wrong in delegating the complete autonomy to the public sector boards as a free and independent boards. Yes, accountability with autonomy is the only mantra by which the public sectors will definitely go up and they can deliver much bigger than private sector. In fact, I personally feel it is a myth that private sectors are doing very well. Most of us who have worked in the private sectors, we do know something internally about how the things are shown up in the private sector. So it's not that private sector is great and public sector is not particularly bad. No, I think government has to give more autonomy to the public sector boards, and they should be given with a target, autonomy, accountability, and with the results. And as Khazanchi Saab said, it also could be, need not be all monetary. It should be a good appreciation from the government talking about a particular public sector undertaking which has done well in a particular project or what the project they have done in time. These sort of things will definitely help. And that is what the government is missing today. And they are trying to show the government public sector is not doing good. Let us sell it off, let us divest, whatever you call it. And one of the things coming up is the privatization. We are listening about privatization of public sector of late quite often. And I think that is pretty bad. In my opinion, example, if you take BHL, what is why will interested in BHL because of what? Because of its land. The land of BHL throughout India is huge. If you see any of their plants, the land is used, which is not reflected in the books at the actual values. So this is very bad that government is trying to sell the public sector. So my opinion is public sector has to be given more autonomy and they will deliver and they can deliver much better than the private sector. That's my personal opinion. Okay, Professor.
Right. Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful, wonderful. See, I have some very interesting figures which I wish to share, with this, our gathering. In 2003, 2004, that level, the net domestic product contribution by the public sector enterprises, it was about 21.7%. And this was compared to only 7.5% in the year 1950-51. And then another figure comes, the gross capital formation in that period was around 22% for 2005 up to 2005, 2006. That means I am giving two eras. One is the Atalji era and also the dropout into the Manmohan era of 2005-6. It did not come down. I mean to say there was some sustained growth. And then, then I would like to give you the present figure. 50% plus contribution in some areas, 50% plus contribution of economic employment covering government administration, community, social and personal services, and through economic enterprise run by the central, state and local self-governments put together contribute to 50% of all levels of employment in the country. Now this figure has definitely come down. ये पहले 65% होती। अब शुक्ला साहब मैं आपके पास आ रहा हूँ। अब ये एक और डेटा देना चाहूंगा, उसके साथ आप आंसर करिए इसको। Government still is a major developer, builder of owner of ports, highways, railways, airports, power generation, transmission, distribution, infrastructure, oil and gas exploration, production, distribution, and such public infrastructures. देखिए दो चीजें, एक तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन मैंने कहा कि 50% से ऊपर आज भी पब्लिक सेक्टर के पास है, and I'm not comparing other services and organizations that coming, but अगर आप ओवरऑल देखिए जब तक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ग्रोथ नहीं होगी लोगों को आप ले नहीं पाएंगे। तो अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ग्रोथ के एंगल से भी देखेंगे तो ये सारी पब्लिक सेक्टर के फेवर में जा रही है, वहां पर तो 70% हो जाएगा अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंगल से हम देखेंगे तो शुक्ला साहब, if this is the scenario, and Shukla Saab is the former director of Tehri Hydro Development Corporation, and he was also the advisor to the IREDA, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. And before that, Murthy Saab, who has spoken to us, comes from the private sector domain. Why this kind of a panel? Because Murthy Saab was the vice president of White Hydro. So we have got a very, very, very comprehensive panel to discuss of three very, I would say, renowned people. And coming to Shukla Saab now, Shukla Saab, मेरा सवाल ये है कि जब इतनी कंट्रीब्यूशन है तो हम ये डाइवर्समेंट और डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट को साफ क्यों नहीं करते? डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट करिए, अटल जी के समय में डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ, मनमोहन साहब के डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट पर उन्होंने नई पीएसयू तैयार करी। I think about a dozen PSUs came during Manmohan Singh's time and another 20 PSUs were born during Atal ji's time. तो आज ये उल्टा हो रहा है, यहाँ कुछ पैदा नहीं हो रहा है। हमने ये पिछले 6-7 साल में कुछ नई पीएसयू को आते हुए नहीं देखा, पर हम बेचने की बातें कर। तो इस पे आपका सर हमें टिप्पणी चाहिए और आपका व्यू है।
बिल्कुल सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। Professor Saab, you have raised a very pertinent issue, and the theme of the entire issue is magnificent because I have read the detail which you have provided in the mail also. The recent decision of Government of India through its cabinet meeting has decided to corporatize 41 defense ordnance factories. Now, those 41 industries are going on in this country since Britishers' time. 1775 was the year when Britishers thought to incorporate certain industries under their militaries so that they can go forward with the development of the ammunition, vehicles, and so many things. And these have now taken the shape of 41 industries and are directly employing 1 lakh workforce and more than 4 lakhs workforce associated for servicing and ancillarization. In that scenario, if you bring them to 7 corporate sectors, collapsing all 41 to only 7, so the point you are raising, we are not creating more public sector and in state or central government domain, but we are trying to squeeze it and finish it. So that is the type of position. Now for that purpose, I was talking to one general manager of ordnance factory. He happens to be known to me. He is afraid of so many things. He says, now what happens for the decision making in public sector, he has a very bad experience. He says there is no autonomy for taking the decisions. Here at least he knows the subject, he is expert, so he can prevail upon the government system and get them convinced. Now I will give you one example of Khamaria Jabalpur factory. They produce vehicles. Their vehicles reach to front. and front is not only manned by the artillery or the jawans, it is also to be manned by the equipments vehicles. And therefore, the factory has to ensure that in all 365 days and in all weather, they have to provide manpower there, so that the team reaches there for any type of training purposes, any type of collision purposes, any type of dispute purposes, to create one lively workshop there at the front. So that type of responsibility is being fulfilled by them, and they are quite eager to continue to contribute as much as possible in that direction. But this type of disheartening attitude, where we get them to squeeze up, squeeze to 7 corporate sectors. Now this demoralizes them, and that is the exact crux of the matter. When we talk about the industrialization, which is started in the country, which Khajanchi Sahab has referred, that industrialization took place with public sector, but those public sectors were all associated with ancillary structures of so many industries and small, medium enterprises. All they were providing supplies, inputs to these corporates, these public sectors, and our service of many machineries, training of the manpower, the quality checks, all those things were being done in association with the private. And I have been in BHEL for nearly 17, 18 years. So I know we have tried to develop as much as possible all these ancillary sectors as well. Now, if we come down heavily on public sector only to privatize it, we look at the environment where we are getting too much of competition. Because of the liberalized, globalized situation, too much of competition is taking place. That competition is cutthroat, and many shortcuts are being followed, which is never the practice of public sector. Public sector never compromises on materials quality, on design aspect, on technology. They ensure for it, and in turn, they also get it ensured that whosoever are private sector associated with them, they also have to provide all those things. And therefore, cutting short on the cost front is simply not possible for them. And because of that, government has to provide certain protection to them. Now, autonomy is one part, and certain protective measures are required, because globalized effect, globalization has brought in Chinese type of equipment, which are not having that sort of reliability, which could be provided by BHEL, which could be provided by our private sector of India, because our private sector is tuned for high quality equipments and machinery supply. So these things are required to be seen seriously. Instead of giving any thought to these parameters, we are simply moving to only divestment, disinvestment, and things like that. So probably we are losing track somewhere, and in the process, like we have seen now this recent pandemic, the pandemic situation has been managed in the country with the help of proper synergization of public sector, that government hospitals and private hospitals both have come together to fight the menace. Otherwise, this is just not possible. And this situation applies to all. In today's scenario, if we look at this pandemic and our country's position, we find some 40%, 50% population lives in villages. For that villages purposes, the medical teams are not available. Medical teams, 75% of the country's resources at medical teams and hospitals and their equipments and medicines, those are easily confined to urban boundary. Now this has to be spread to that rural area. That also requires proper participation of private and government sector and these public sectors. I will give you
sir, 1 minute. 1 minute. I think we will have to re-log in because हमारा ये समय खत्म हो गया है. पर वो
हाँ।
रीलॉग इन इसी पे भी रीलॉग इन करना पड़ेगा।
इसे में
And we will
रीलॉग इन कर
continue.
लेते Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
sir.
continue.
जस्ट
हाँ,
एक
continue
मिनट
कर
में बहुत बढ़िया आपके साथ ही शुरू करेंगे। विल अगेन बिगिन विथ यू।